Hey guys, with the release of 1.19, the wild update today, including mangrove swamps and the deep dark and not birch forests, I would like to also reveal Java Aspects 5.1.0 is finished and available to download right now. Go to the description, go to MC Bedrock, download the pack, because yes, it includes compatibility for a lot of stuff. In fact, this video is just a quick overview of what the update includes, and there's two things that this update really is. It's a pretty big one. So the first thing is everything from 5.0.0 that I could not cram in there. So it's a lot of sound stuff. It's a lot of entity stuff. It's a lot of stuff from other packs that I would have loved to merge, but I just did not have the time before 1.18 came out. And now I did have the time. The other half of this update is 1.19 stuff with all the new mobs and spawn eggs and sounds and everything to deal with. So that combined has made this a pretty large task, but now it is finished just on time for you to enjoy. So let's rapid fire go through a bunch of the features. Now here are some of the best fixes in this update. For one, spawn eggs will no longer break every update. This is something that has bugged me for a long time. For some reason, every time a new update came out, it would just ruin how all the spawn eggs looked. And you had to manually fix every single one, so you had to wait for me to update the pack. No longer, now they will just look nice right off the bat like they're supposed to. Also, a normal housekeeping thing, all the new items will now sit perfectly flat in your hand because of my item poses. I just had to update it for 1.19. That category text that would appear on new items every update will no longer appear on new items, so I no longer have to release a patch to fix that. Just like the spawn eggs, this is just cutting out another step and making sure things stay up to date for you forever. Now let's rapid fire cover a bunch of the features in this update. One thing I'm very proud of is the addition of all the Java sound events from 1.17 onward, so that includes stuff like the entity stuff, like entity.axolotl.ambient. You can now play that from a command block and it will play the sound like you were playing Java Edition. So here's the warden playing tendril clicks. Normally that wouldn't work, but it works with Java Aspects. Here we got the goat horn sounds because all the items have also been added, and here we have a block sound because all the block sounds have also been added. So if you're placing mangrove roots and you feel like, wow, my world has been turned into coffee, then you've got Java Aspects. Mangrove propagules now have grass sounds instead of stone or wood or whatever it was before, and also, they're just a little bit thicker in your inventory. They are not slim any longer. Black stone stairs and slabs now have a different texture on the top compared to the side. You can see the top is rougher and the side has smoothness. I think that's very nice since it's something the developers missed, and I also missed it for quite a while. I like this one. Entities will now have different overlays that match Java Edition when they're either on fire or hurt. So for example, when I punch this allay, it doesn't turn as red as before, because now we've got Java Aspects making it turn less red. Similarly, if we set this frog on fire, you'll see that it's not orange unless it actually takes damage, because Java does not have a burning entity overlay. Villagers have gotten a lot of love in this update, specifically in two major ways. For one, look at those robes, they go all the way down. That's because in the 1.19 update, Java Edition gained longer villager robes, so now Java Aspects is changing to match. But also, if we pull out some emeralds, you can see that villagers hold items perfectly straight to us. This is very beautiful, and a very nice contrast from how they normally hold them at a weird angle. So this guy will do it too. There's an axe there. And this even applies for wandering traders who will give weirder stuff like flowers, and this guy doesn't have any blocks, but if they have blocks, they'll hold them nicely too. Speaking of wandering traders, see this trader llama right here? Do you notice that his clothes are no longer stapled directly to his fur? That's because Java Aspects 5.1.0 unstaples the decor from llamas. I don't know what those villagers were doing before, but we fixed it. Similarly, pigs with saddles are also no longer stapled to the pig. They're now floating off of it nicely. In this update, experience orbs are now semi-transparent, so you can actually see through them, and they don't glow at night either, so it's just a nice change to make them look like Java Edition. I think we're about to be ambushed by tree frogs. Oh, wait, that's not tree frogs, that's a shulker. But look at their beautiful bullets. Do you see that? The bullets are now semi-transparent with a shell, like how they are on Java and Console Edition instead of the weird, shellless Bedrock default. End crystals now rotate in a slightly different... Oh, come on, bullets. You're supposed to stop at this point so I can make a nice transition without even cutting the video. Darn it. Up on top of this tree, we'll notice a few other nice things too, such as skulk sensor particles, which are now tilted like they are on Java, and also skulk sensor particles, which now face the direction that the sound is in. It's a little hard to demonstrate here, but they are very nice. Very minor feature here, but armor stands. Did you know you can't pick block armor stands? I did not know that. Armor stands now have hitting, breaking, and placing sounds from Java Edition. And ooh, I love this feature. You see this sign that's telling us to copy those coordinates? Well, in the latest release, they added a new feature where you can copy coordinates up here. And if you do it, it makes a little pop-up appear that's like a notification, like an achievement would be, or like a when you buy from the marketplace would be. And guess what happens when an achievement pops up now? And wait for it. Perfect, it's got the in sound and the out sound of the toast from Java Edition, so it now matches how, like, advancements or recipes would look. When you break stained glass, the particles that come out of them are now square instead of weird little squiggly lines, because what? The main menu has also received some love in this update with specifically the new panorama, so if you're playing on a preview and you apply Java aspects, you'll see a nice panorama instead of a savanna. I've also updated the splashes to include all of the 1.19 splashes and remove the Russian splash. And when you're creating a new world, all of the game rule names will match the Java Edition names instead of the Bedrock ones. Now there are countless other minor features I could talk about in this update, or I could show you this really fun one that I like, where unobtainable blocks are now also supported by Java aspects, so they have names. And nether portals, for example, have shading, as if they're a light block. Camera blocks don't make wet grass sounds when you place them. I don't know how that even happened. The border wall blocks, which are something from Education Edition that stops you from stepping over it if you're in survival mode, now have a Java Edition-like icon, even though they're not in Java Edition. Redstone comparators and redstone repeaters that start powered, for example, have special names, and so do all other special starting blocks like the lit furnace, or the lit redstone lamp. Or my personal favorite, glowing obsidian, which now has a nice overlay in the inventory to make it look nice next to all its friends. And this is a cool one, because this is more in the scope of Java aspects. Not that I'm saying this isn't in the scope of Java aspects, but it's definitely on the line. But on the other hand, that oak slab that actually makes stone sounds and can't be burned, well, on Java it's called a petrified oak slab, so on Bedrock, even though it's unobtainable, I might as well call it a petrified oak slab. Totem of Undying particles have been updated to match Java Edition. Y las traducciones al español han sido actualizadas por Netongas NG. Gracias por la ayuda y perdón por mi pronunciación. There's one other feature in this update that's pretty cool, and it is these zip files. This is a new idea that I'm basing off the enchantment glint thing, and basically these are optional extra features for Java aspects that you can enable if you're a purist. I didn't want to include these in the base pack though, because I think they stray a little far from not touching Bedrock's unique features. The first one is armless armor stands. This is from Multipixel, so thank you to Zhu Chenyun Fei. When you extract here, by the way, here's how you apply any of these zip files. You right click and you click extract here. On a phone, you just tap and hold and you click extract here. When it asks you if you want to replace, you say yes to all. So right now we just applied the enchantment glint, which, whatever, but let's explain the other ones. Armless armor stands makes it so that armor stands do not show their arms until they have an item. Dark forest grass, Enderman eyes, inventory effects, and no vignette are all from Lucas's Java parody pack. Dark forest grass makes it so all forests have darker grass, which makes sense in the dark forest, aka the roofed forest, but it does not make sense in the normal forest, so that's why it's not applied by default. Java Enderman eyes makes Enderman's eyes slightly paler so that they look more like the Java version on Bedrock. Inventory effects, now I have to explain this, you have to have settings that match these two here. You have to have GUI scale 0 on either a 2560 by 1440 or a 3440 by 1440 monitor. I can probably add 1080p options in the future, but for now it's only 1440p. If your resolution or your GUI scale does not match, the inventory effects will be way off center. I don't know why this is, it's just weird. But when you do extract this to the game, what it does is it adds the inventory widgets that show when you're just playing the game, they also show in your inventory. And no vignette removes the dark border around the screen when you're deep underground. This is very nice in the deep dark. Well, that is going to be the end of this video. But for now, I do want to tell you all that... Okay, never mind.